We're finally to it. This is probably going to be the toughest of the top 5 lists up to today. We are now up to Sign of the Times. Hey everybody, welcome back to Prince's Friend, exploring music through Prince. And I've been doing these top 5s for a little bit now, and I've really enjoyed doing them because I'm able to kind of take the album, kind of break it down, and be like, which ones were like the best songs on here? Mostly from my personal point of view. And sometimes I kind of throw in like, you know, hey, even if I don't really like this one, it is definitely one of the best songs. But, you know, I was kind of dreading getting to Sign of the Times. The reason why is because most of the albums up till now have like 8 or 9 songs. It really just means like shoving off a couple of here and there and then like you're good. Sign of the Times though has 16 songs. It was a double album and I was like, oh, what am I gonna do with this one? This is gonna be like bonkers. I mean, and it's got some amazing songs on this album. It is, you know, highly regarded as, you know, one of Prince's best albums ever, his 80s magnum opus. And I'm okay with saying it's his 80s magnum opus, all because his 90s one is Emancipation, and he's got one for the 2000s, the 2010s. You know, he's got his great works in every decade, and I think that Sign of the Times is probably one of his better works in the 80s, although it's definitely not my favorite. I love Love Sexy. But just the sheer number of songs on here means so many others are not going to get picked in this top 5. So that's 11 songs that won't get picked this time, as opposed to like some others. It's like, you know, I just won't pick those 4. So anyway, obviously if you like these videos, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, so you always know when Prince's Friend puts out a new video. And I want to also go ahead and remind you of the songs that are on Sign of the Times before I start talking about what my top 5 are. The songs are Sign of the Times, Play in the Sunshine, Housequake, Ballad of Dorothy Parker, It, Starfish and Coffee, Slow Love, Forever in My Life, You Got the Look, If I Was Your Girlfriend, Strange Relationship, I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man, The Cross, It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, and Adore. Now what I did when I was going through this and I was like, let me figure out what my top 5 is I immediately just went through and I said, what are the ones that are like in contention? Because for me, there are some songs on here that are like, they would just definitely not be on my top 5. Strange Relationship, It, Slow Love, like those are good songs, but they're not ones that would end up in my top 5 just right off the bat. So when I did that, I went from 16 to 9 immediately. That made it a little bit easier and allowed me to really kind of just be able to be like, now I can just take off 4, and even that was really difficult because the other ones were like really good. So I do have my top 5, and then I'm gonna have also 2 honorable mentions because I feel like there are 2 songs that I just could not for the life of me shove off another song to put on the top 5, but like I guess maybe it's a top 7, who knows. So let's go ahead and get started. My number 5 is I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man, and the big reason for why this one ended up on the list at number 5, so it's the lowest, but it's also, I mean, it's on here, so that actually means that it's amazing in my opinion. I felt like it was a different approach to kind of a love song, kind of a breakup song, kind of a song in general. There are very few songs that are like, hey, you just got out of a relationship? So like, I'm not interested. Most of the songs are like, you make me want to leave my relationship so I can be with you, or I can't wait till you're not with your man anymore so I can scoop you up. And even Prince has a lot of songs in both of those areas. And I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man, I think, was one of the few songs that I've ever heard. I don't think I've ever heard it from any other artist where it was just like, no, I think it might be too soon for you, and I'm not looking to just replace like this person in your life. Like, no thank you, I'm good. Yeah, that's it. Like, there's not many no thank you, I'm good songs out there that aren't like hateful, because even in the song it doesn't even feel like he's like, no, get out of my face. He's just like, hey, you know, no thank you. Anyway, the fact that there's also the dueling guitar keyboard thing in there, when you go to the concert movie, there's that epic kind of guitar solo in the middle, which I think is even better than the one that's on the album. I think that I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man is just an amazing song. It deserves to be in my top 5, so it ended up at like number 5. My number 4 is Sign of the Times, and the reason why I definitely wanted to highlight the title track is it broke down a lot of barriers. You know, it was the first song to really kind of talk about AIDS. It was an amazing kind of outpouring of social awareness from Prince in the mid-'80s. I also like the fact that it has a way different sound. It uses a lot more of like electronic sounds in there mixed with the guitar, and at its core it's a pretty simple song, like doo-doo-doo-doo, like, but there's not much more. It's just that and some swelling and some crashing kind of sounds and orchestral stuff behind it. But on the whole, it has so much power for being a pretty simplistic song. Sign of the Times is just an amazing song. It's a great song to start off an album with as well. I think that there were only probably a couple of others on the entire album of Sign of the Times that could have started off this album. I think You Got the Look does a pretty good job starting off the second disc. And I can make the argument that like the Ballad of Dorothy Parker is a pretty good song for like starting off an album. Like I could see that one being a good opener. But Sign of the Times, great song. My number 3 is Adore, and Adore is, I'm not alone here. A lot of us, like, Adore would be in our top 5. It's just an amazing song. It's a great love song. It's got a lot of humor in it, and it's got, like, some jokiness in it. You know, maybe not the ride. You know, it's like, so that sort of thing, like, I love that sort of thing. That is exactly what I am into, you know, this whole Prince thing for, is the addition of personality to these songs. That's what happens a lot of the time with music, is you end up with a song that like it does its thing, but like then afterwards you completely forget it. And Adore never did that. Adore, from the moment I first heard it, I was like, that's the song. And I remember too, like, because I saw the Sign of the Times movie first and then heard the album, and I was like, why was Adore not on the movie? It needed to be in the movie, damn it. Like, how have I been missing out on this song for this long? Great song, it's my number 3. So my number 2 is If I Was Your Girlfriend. Anybody who has watched the channel for a while knows I love If I Was Your Girlfriend. And I love to dissect it, and I love to like pick up different meanings of different words and different lines. So there's a lot to the song. I did a whole video about like what I believe the song is about. A lot of people think it's a love song. In my opinion, it's actually almost like a stalker kind of song. It's not necessarily a love song, but it's a wonderful song. Like, it's well constructed. His falsetto is wonderful. I just love the whole thing from top to bottom. I mean, If I Was Your Girlfriend is just impeccable. Like, I think it's Prince at his best. Like, that song, he did kind of go back to this kind of feel a couple of times, like with the song You Know and stuff like that, where it was kind of playing around with the idea of being in the relationship but not being in the relationship. A lot of lyrical wordplay there. I just love this song. All right, real quick, my 2 honorable mentions are Forever in My Life, which is a song that makes me cry. Such a good song. It's a lovely song about love, which I really dig. Go check out my top 10 love songs list. It's on there, and you might be surprised as to where on that list it is, so go check that out. The other honorable mention is going to be for Starfish and Coffee, because Starfish and Coffee, it's such a great song. And it's one that I've been trying to teach it to my son Evan. He doesn't quite have it, but he loves listening to it. He's still learning rhythm. But oh my gosh, so Forever in My Life and Starfish and Coffee, I felt like I needed to give them a special shout out because they're 2 songs that I love off the album, but being that it's a top 5, I can only pick 5. With that in mind, my number 1 is The Cross. The reason for this is because The Cross is kind of that epic ending song, and I always felt that it was wonderful. And also learning it on the guitar a little bit, I don't know it great, but learning it a little bit on the guitar, you find that like the majority of the song is just 2 notes, and that he just kind of alternates between the 2 in a certain strumming pattern. But with just 2 notes, you can make a whole amazing song out of it. And of course, you get the first part, which is very kind of acoustic and very soft, and then it launches into this like rock opera feel to it. So I mean, The Cross is just amazing. And obviously, again, the movie version was better than the album version, and that has a lot to do with like the mixing and the volumes of stuff. Sometimes I have to turn the album version way up in order to even hear it. But all of it's great. I love Sign of the Times. I wouldn't say that it's like my top favorite Prince album of all time, like I know a lot of people would. But for me, Silent Times is a very solid album with a lot of wonderful songs on it. And my number 1 on that list would be The Cross. Let me know what your guys' top 5 looks like down in the comments. And do you have any honorable mentions on top of that? And let's limit it to 2 honorable mentions. We don't want to go too crazy. It's a 16-song album, guys. Come on. But let's continue that discussion down in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, consider Patreon or YouTube membership, and otherwise, may you live to see the dawn. I love you guys all.